Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to RWBYM, also known as the Rwby Minecraft mod. This is a mod for Minecraft Java Edition 1.12.2. Mod is made by Bezel Dev, Forge user 522080004, and Honeyluck. This mod was originally made as a texture pack, but has slowly developed into a full-blown Rwby mod. Now, for those of you who don't know what Rwby is, it is basically American anime made by Monty Oum. It is part of Rooster Teeth's catalog of animations. So yeah, let's get into this mod. The first thing I want to cover is the main characters, that being Rwby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. Now, of course, first we got Rwby here. Now I'm going to go through these characters, then I'm going to cover all the other things in clumps instead of going by character to character. I'm going to go by the main characters, the main sub-characters, then I'll move on to weapons and armor and all that stuff. And you can think of this as sort of a review slash showcase slash how-to guide. It's kind of all those in one. So first we have Rwby. We've got Rwby's gear here, and it's a little buggy on these stands. I will admit to that. The hood looks a little odd. But we also got, of course, everyone's favorite ridiculous looking weapon, the Crescent Moon, which looks really good. They got spot on with the model. And yes, it can turn into a sniper rifle. Although you can't scope it, you can get a slight amount of zoom on when you have bullets in it. Such as these bullets here. I accidentally just removed it, but yeah. And it is a full-blown sniper rifle, just without a scope. So, it's a little tricky to aim. But hey, sometimes that's just the way things are. Starting off, we have Rwby's basic outfit, which has the hood on it. It's a nice little thing. It's got the jump speed bonus and a move speed bonus. It does some other things for you, which you can look in the stats. I'm not going to get that much into nitty-gritty detail. But it looks very good. It's from Rwby. It's a good representation of her outfit. Then there is a different outfit of hers. It looks a little weird with my model, just the way I made my model. But you can have the hood up or down. I think it looks better down on the character model, just because it adds that nice sort of bunched look. And I think it just makes the outfits look better in my opinion. Now, for some reason, they also include Rwby's pajamas from the show. So that is also an item you can equip, is her pajamas. They also have their own stats, but I really don't know why they are a thing. Now Rwby wouldn't be Rwby without her semblance. And I think they did an absolutely fantastical job with it. Now you do need to set the semblance key. I believe the base key is G, which I have it set to, but you can go into your config. Here, I'll even show you how to do this. How to use your semblance key. Okay, because people always ask me, how do I use the hotkeys? So you go to options. You go to controls, and then you just scroll down until you find yourself the mod that you wish to deal with, which is the RWBY mod, YM mod, Rwby mod, and you just select which you want this to be. And we'll have it set to G, as that's what I'm used to at this point, and that is how you get the hotkey stuff done. So her semblance, her power, if you don't know, is she turns into a bunch of flowers and can fly. And they have done that, which it looks excellent, I think. Does get a little blurry in front of your vision, but it still looks good, it still works. You move pretty fast with it. I'll get into how semblance work a little bit later on into the video. Moving on from Rwby, we have Weiss. And Weiss also has a considerable collection of clothing. And of course her sword, Misdarastal, however you pronounce that. And well, she's pretty cool. Weiss is not one of my favorite characters, but she's still a pretty decent character in the series in my opinion. Now Weiss's sword looks really good, and the first outfit that I'm wearing right now is actually rather representative of the outfit she wears. Again, it doesn't work the best with my character model, which is a bit of a shame. And yeah, the outfit does look good, the sword looks great in my opinion. And here we have another outfit of Weiss. They just look good, they're representative of the anime. They've got the design down packed. With the right model, it could look really good. And finally, her last outfit is a sort of sweater dress skirt thing, which I like the hoodie design of it. Now her sword can shoot bullets if you have the right stuff in your inventory. If you have basically these crystals and stuff, it shoots different elemental effects out. It's not quite like her magic, but it's still pretty close. I think they're doing a mighty fine job. And if you have no ammo for it, it makes her scoot forward, or you I guess, with the sword. Now her semblance is to summon things. So she can summon a big old guy to fight for her. That's her semblance. He's a pretty nifty dude. He'll defend you, he'll attack your enemies, and that's Weiss. Next we have Blake. Got all of Blake's stuff here. We've got Blake's sword, the Gamble Shroud. She has her own unique ammo for the Gamble Shroud. And she has 3 outfits to choose from, which are pretty nice looking. The Gamble Shroud can of course turn into a pistol that will fire bullets for you, but it is still a decent sword when it's in its main form, dealing 14 damage, which is a pretty hefty hit. Now forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is the original outfit Blake had, and it looks pretty stellar. The cat ears I will explain later on how to get those and what that's all about, but for now I'm just using it aesthetically. I think this is her outfit midway through the series, I may be wrong, but still. They did a spot-on job of making it look like one of Blake's outfits. I think this is either her current outfit or second latest one. The design here, I think it looks really good. I like the long coat tail it has. If we look at the back here, I really like that long sort of coat tail cloak effect that they've added. And it, of course, gives you a considerable jump boost. All their outfits I haven't been talking about, but all their outfits give you a little jump boost and things. Now, Blake's semblance leaves behind a little version of Blake, a little deceptive thing. Now, if you just tap it, it will launch you up and backwards. However, you use it while going in a direction, it will leave that version behind. Also, while you're getting a rejection, it briefly turns you invisible. Last but not least, of Team Rwby, we have Yang. One of my favorite characters until she lost her arm, and she became really whiny and downy, and I kind of lost how much I liked her after that. Still, when Yang isn't being moody, she's a pretty cool character. Now, Yang's got, I think, some of the coolest weapons, Ember Celsius, or how we pronounce it, which are basically shotgun fists. Now, if you right click with the shotgun fists, it turns into the punchy hand, which I think is to represent her missing arm. But you can also just go shotgun and punch within this form, and it still hits really, really hard. And she's got a whopping 4 outfits, which is way more than anyone else has. Now Yang's outfit also looks really weird on my character model just because of the green. Should maybe get a different character model to do this. But still, they're good looking outfits. Her second outfit, I think, is one of my favorites that Yang had, which is this one here. I think it looked good. Now this is Yang's outfit, I believe, when she got her arm knocked off. Which, I mean, those things happen. It's a little shorter sleeve on one side, the other sleeve is quite a bit longer. And finally they have this one, which sort of has the arm built in, so it's not the giant Clunkinator 2000. But yeah, they look good. The outfits look good. It's mainly the weapons though. Like, just look at that. The weapons look so good in this mod. Now Yang's semblance is a bit of an odd one. It requires you to get hit, and then you charge up. So the more enemy hits you, the more hurt you get, the more you'll hit back. Then you hit G and it's powered up, and you deal a whole bunch of damage with your hits, and it also boosts your strength to a ridiculous degree. Now, you can just activate it without getting hit and get a strength bonus, but basically for a short period it'll make you go Super Saiyan. Unfortunately, there's no visual effects for that, but still, it's a very strong semblance in how hard you hit, but it does burn through your aura crazy fast, so you have to be quite careful with it. Moving on from the main characters, we've got the supporting characters of the show. We've got John with his old classic armor, and wearing John's armor, I think he has some of the best looking armor to wear for my player model. It actually works quite well, and I love his design, John's. We've got John's sword, which can turn into the shield sheath. Now, if you hold in your offhand, it acts as a shield, but you can never get the shield out, as far as I've been able to tell. I don't think they've really worked on it. These characters, although these 4 other characters we're going to cover are sort of main characters, they don't really seem to actually have nearly as much work put on them as the main characters. Now, here we have the good old hammer and grenades of, I think it's Moira, I can't even remember her name. Shows how much I care. Nora, not Moira, Nora. We've got Nora's stuff here. Now she's got a giant hammer, which looks good. She doesn't actually have her outfit, strangely, but she does have the rocket launcher as well, or grenade launcher. And it does destroy train if it hits it. So, look out, world. Next we have Pira. Pira also has an armor set that looks half decent on my character. I think it's just the way my character dresses. So Pira's outfit actually looks pretty good on old Lorthorn here. Her weapon of choice is this thing, which can turn into a gun, a sword, and a spear. I remember there being a shield, but she doesn't seem able to get that. She uses the same kind of ammo as Rwby, and she has her own semblance. Now you can throw the spear, which is pretty good. It looks pretty good when it's thrown. When she's using the old gun, it is a bit of a sniper rifle. So I think it's accurate. Not 100% certain, but it looks good. And her outfit looks great. Finally, of the main characters, we've got Ren. Now, Ren's guns use the Gambo Shroud. Now, Ren has 2 guns, the Stormflowers, which he fires both at once. If you have one in your offhand, he'll fire the other one. They are also ridiculously fast firing, and they don't need to switch between modes. You can just punch with it. It has very little cooldown, and deals a lot of damage. His weapons actually might be the strongest in the game. Now, they also don't have Ren's outfits, which is a little disappointing, but, well, you work with what you got. Now, something I forgot to mention about Stormflower is you can use it to climb walls. If you press forward and right-click against a wall, then it allows you to climb walls. So there are a lot of outfits and weapons from the various different characters throughout the series, as you can see here. We've got just the basic old White Fang goon items, which showed up when the White Fang showed up, and it gives you the mask. They got all their weapons, and every weapon will also tell you what kind of ammo it uses, so you don't really have to worry about that. Now, this mod has an astonishing amount of outfits and weapons paired with them. Some are from the actual films, and there's a few fan ones. I didn't recognize all of them at first, and I actually had to go back and start watching through the series. And once I did that, I was like, oh, that's where those outfits come from. But it took me a while. Also, there is just such an absurd amount of creativity in Rwby. It's surprising how well this mod actually manages to capture the models working with just pixel art and putting them in within the limits of Minecraft's engine and what you can do with modding. Now, not all of the outfits look as good on my character model, but it's good enough for it to work. And other models they'd work better with. Not all of the sound. Christ, that's loud. Holy cow. Sorry, RIP headphones users. Yes, not all of the sounds are great with the guns, and not all of their particle effects are good, like this here. That sounds wimpy compared to what we just heard. But still, The models are excellent, and I love some of the effects. Like this here. Ready for it? Ready for it? So casual, just glides back in like Penny's sword projection. It's awesome. Also, that's a slick bit of modeling on that helmet there. Clover looks stellar here. You need multiple people to get that item to actually work, so I had to cheat in some stuff for the camera. There's a few things I could not figure out very well, and so it took me a bit of time to get it all working, but still, it works great. I am a little disappointed with Mercury that he doesn't have legs you can equip, but Ozpin looks excellent. That's Ozpin there. This is Summer. I didn't know Summer had a scythe. I think that's just a fan thing. Here is Le Neptune, which is also a great character. Of course, everyone's favorite Torchwick. This random guy. It's weird who they chose. That is one thing I do want to mention, is it's very weird who they chose to have outfits for. Because two of the main characters are missing outfits, like the supporting main characters. And then the henchmen get outfits. I mean, I love the henchmen. I love their outfits. But still, also that rocket launcher sounds so wimpy. Okay, this here, non-canon outfits. These are, I don't know what these are about, but they just made these random outfits. I couldn't find any source material for it. Back to the canon though, this stuff has source material. Some of it. Some of it's from different fan-made projects. That is canon. 100% certain. That is canon. But some of the weapons aren't, but a lot of outfits are, so it works out. And, oh yeah, spoiler warning. Some of these outfits will be spoilers to later on if you haven't watched the series. Okay, and that's that. So even with all those outfits, there is still a lot of weapons that are not paired with outfits. We've got Robin's weapons, we have Stalwart, we've got just such an absolutely absurd amount of items here that it would take a very long time to go through all of them. Now they're all quite cool, they're different designs to them. Some can turn to pistols, others can have internal magazines. This can turn to a shield or a crossbow. It's just rather absurd. We've got this scorpion blade thing here, and also all these items have really nice looking models to them. They've put a lot of work into a lot of their designs. And sometimes they have unique properties, like one of Ironwood's guns has the absurd knockback that he used to fly around with in his battle. While the other of Ironwood's guns, which I believe is right here, doesn't have the knockback. So you can basically choose which one to shoot with. There are also some items I just don't recognize from anywhere in the show. Like there's this thing called Whispering Blossom, which allows you to glide and can shoot arrows. And I don't recall this thing at all anywhere. It might have been there, but some of the items are definitely made up by the creators of this mod or taken by fan projects. Like this axe might have been somewhere in there, but I don't remember it. Still, it's got a good looking model. And this color's like, just look at all these models. There's so much detail put in them, so much work. They're gorgeous. Some items aren't paired to outfits, unfortunately. But I think one of the coolest items I've come across from this mod is this thing. This board. Now it can turn into a pistol, but that's not what's cool about it. What's cool is when you hold it down, you get yourself a hoverboard. It allows you to hover. And it gives you a big old jump bonus. And it can go over water just fine. And it has like these little curving banking maneuvers. Looks really cool. Has automatic up steps. Yeah, and you don't take fall damage when you use this thing. It's just such a cool item. It's one of the more cool weapons. And you're like, ah, I've done drifting here. I'm going to smack you with my hoverboard. Well, there's a lot of different weapons. But one of the things you need for all these guns is ammo. Holy cow, there's a lot of different ammo. There's different dusts, different shots. There's these unique things I didn't even know existed. Yeah, there is so much ammo in this mod. And there's actually a bit of work put into these things as well, appearance-wise. Like, they're not as nice as the guns, but they still aren't just 2D. They've actually got some, like, 3D work put into them. They've got something going for them. Quite a bit of effort was put into this ammo. And I think it's quite nice just to have that attention to detail in things. Like if you look at this bullet, I mean the bullet looks a little bit odd, but even still, they're all quite cool looking. Let's move on to the mobs. Now Grimm will spawn during the day in these Grimm biomes, which are these snowy awful biomes with these grey leaves, and they'll spawn at night and underground. And they're really annoying. Grimm are quite awful. But there is a whole slew of types of Grimm. We're going to go through all of them. First we have the Beowulf, your basic normal wolf monster. And we have the Urson, which is like a bear Grimm. And they look pretty good. The Urson looks a little derpy, but I like the Beowulf. We have the Boar Grimm, which looks good. We have a freaking Goliath, which is a giant mammoth Grimm. There is a Deathstalker, giant scorpion Grimm. The Mutant Deathstalker, which is a green giant scorpion. We have a Creep, little raptor boy. We have a juvenile Nevermore. And we've got a giant glitchy full-grown Nevermore, which is absolutely huge. We have the possessed Armor Gigas, which is possessed by a Geist. And we just have a normal Geisty boy, who is what possessed that thing. We have an Apathy, which are kind of awful. They slow you and make you hit less hard. We have the Knuckle Leaf, which is that weird horse-riding Grimm monster. Lancers, the Wasp. The tiny Deathstalker, the Lancer Queen, which is huge, and she will spawn more Lancers, and a Mutant Ursa, which stands on its hind legs. Sorry, Ursa Major, which stands on its hind legs. Then we have the Gorilla, which are called Brengle. We have Sabers, which are saber-toothed cats. We have Wyverns, giant dragon monsters. We have Ravengers, which are smaller ones. We have the Seers, which are these balloons filled with fun, and we've got these Chinese spiders that run backwards. I don't know why they run backwards, but that's what they do. Grimm do not burn during the day, which is a bit of a shame, and they will attempt to murder players. Now, worry not, your semblance aura will protect you for a bit, but it also does very quickly run out from everything at once trying to attack you, making life very dangerous indeed. Very, very dangerous. All of the different Grimms have different powers. Some of them can shoot fireballs, but luckily they can hit each other. And most of them are too big to get into small spaces, but some can, which makes them excessively dangerous. We're going to move into a few of the blocks that exist in this world. So one of them is the force field fence, the hard light fence, which you can stack on each other, generate light with it, and you can make up walls as long as they're adjacent to each other and within at least, like here you see, if they are more than 4 away they don't make a light field, but if they're 2 away that's fine, 1 away it's fine. And these things are actually really nifty. So recipe wise they take some stuff, which we're going to get into how to get all these items, but they're actually relatively cheap. But they have some cool properties. One, you can't get through them. They're walls, so Grimm can't get through these light walls, nor can monsters. The other cool property is you can move them with pistons, and they'll shift up, and as long as they're just following the rules of them being at least 2 away, then it works. It can also be 1 away. But this also applies that you can make little gates with them, so you can pull them in and out, and bam, you got a wall. And then there's a gate opening, and it closes again. I think the light walls are a really neat, nifty little addition. The charms, briefly. So the charms are a whole bunch of different weapons, which basically upgrade your stuff. So they make stats better. So attack boost rank for melee damage. So this thing makes your punch better. So if you're Yang, it's good to have these things. If you're Rwby, then you want this polearm item. It's the rose, and you put the keychain on your feet, and then your polearm gets stronger. These keychains are okay looking. They're not the best looking, but they're not bad either. And they actually put work into making it so their backside's kind of a reflective mirror. And they're useful little things. Now there's a few other items which are kind of random in this game. So we got money, we've got like a pouch that can hold stuff in it, got coffee and food, we got the thermos, go all the way through the food. We've got this toolkit and a few other things of interesting note. You can put down the toolkit, doesn't appear to do anything, but you can also put down Atlas Knights, useful little soldier friends. And you can put down the Armagigis, which is evil and possessed, and these Atlas Knights want to fight it. Poor little guys don't have any weapons to fight it with. And these are another thing you can build to scrap, these little Atlas soldiers, and they're just friendly little guys to help you out. I think one of the best things this mod adds is a corgi, which is Rwby. And you just need to give Rwby a bone, and he'll love you eventually. And he's one of the strongest dogs in the game. Unfortunately, you cannot launch him with the antique roaster. I tried various times trying to figure out how to load him into the antique roaster. It doesn't work. Now, antique roaster does shoot fire, but it just doesn't load him into it, which is a real shame. Now, how do we get all these cool little items and stuff? Well, one of the main ways to get all these items and clothing and armor is to get them from the various different shopkeeps, which have a whole bunch of different things on them. So this guy, you can trade money and convert. He's your local food man. Over here, this person will give you different metals. They also sell to you a lot of the different weapons that can be found in the game. Over here, we got your black market content, and he gives you all the minion and evil looking stuff. He also sells you semblances and gives you a few interesting items that are useful. Also your main scroll guy, and a few weapons like the Lieutenant's Chainsaw and that sort of thing. Finally here, this person sells you a whole bunch of the other remaining clothing that you can get, and they're pretty nice for getting clothing off them. Now, none of the clothing has crafting recipes, so you can only buy it and find it, which is something to be aware of. Now, these shopkeeps can be found in villages where they will spawn naturally in this nice little row here for you, and there is in fact an extra shopkeep, which I appeared to miss, who will sell you the dog and also give you semblances for killing Grim. So you can find all of the shopkeepers in a village where they'll be imprisoned in one of these little booths. When you kill Grim in this mod pack, they have a chance of dropping weapon parts. Now these parts can be assembled into some of the weapons of the game, not all of them, but you can basically get these weapon parts to make the various different weapons from the main characters as well as the fan weapon. But these things also have another very important property to them, which is they can be recycled into scrap. Recipe for scrap is quite straightforward. You can turn any weapon in the game into scrap, or you can turn these pieces into scrap. Now scrap is very useful because it's what makes bullets. You get enough scrap together with a few other items, and you can make the bullets of the game. And this is basically where you get all your ammo from, is by scrap. So killing Grim will give you the pieces for weapons, then you can assemble the weapons because they're quite strong, kill more Grim, get scrap, start shooting the bullets with them. So all these different weapons have their own parts, and they assemble quite nicely. So the punching thing, pretty simple, 3 pieces, whereas the scythe is a whopping 6 pieces, quite complicated, but the scythe is also a pretty cool weapon, so we can forgive that, because it looks awesome. Now there is another way to get some of the stuff, which is dust. And you get dust from dust ore. However, dust is a little difficult to find. It seems to stick around about depth 22, and can be mined with a normal pickaxe. Now apparently it has the danger of exploding. I have still yet to see that, and it is deep underground. Now the biggest risk you'll run into when mining now underground is there's a whole bunch of Grim underground. So you have to be careful of that. But besides that, dust seems pretty safe to mine, even though there seems to be suggestions that it should blow up in your face. I have yet to encounter that. Once you get your dust, you can bring it to a dust processor. It doesn't actually have a recipe, so you do have to buy off one of those guys. But you don't need the dust processor either. For the most basic of forms, you can use a furnace, and the furnace should get you your dusty needs. It will give you gravity, well, it'll give you dust canisters, which are kind of useful. But if you want to refine it, you can get 2 from using the crushing head, which again also has to be bought, so you can get 2 of those. Or you can refine it with the chisel head, which will make these clusters of dust, and that is how you get the dust refined. Now we should cover semblances. So semblances use your aura to operate. It'll tell you whose semblance you have if you use the scroll here, this little item. And this tells you how much power you have and what level it's at. Aura is also used as armor, so if I were to take damage, instead it would go into my aura and use that up, and it slowly regens over time. Your semblance power, again, as I said, is how it's used, and also the level is actually quite important. So at level 1, Rwby's semblance just gives you a little bit of a movement boost across the ground. Now if you're actually on the ground, it makes her run really fast, and if you jump in the air, you can't do all that much with it. However, you can level up. So if you use another coin of the Rwby semblance, you'll hit Rwby semblance level 2. This will now let you fly for a whole lot longer with it. You can basically fly uninterrupted and turn to little cloud flowers. Now, if we upgrade it again, this will bring us to level 3. Now level 3 is about as high as you can go, and if we aren't colliding with guys who hit back like trucks, if we fly into a sheep, we'll just kill it instantly. So it's actually a useful little power. Now you can switch semblances by just basically using the coin. This will give us Weiss's semblance now, and that will at level 1 summon a boar. If we level it up again, we will summon a grim wolf. We use it again. At level 3, it doesn't seem to be working for us quite the way I want it to. However, at level 4, it will summon the Mega Golem. There we go. So at level 4, it'll summon a big guy. Blake's semblance, as I said, leaves a little illusionary version of you behind. The next level, it just makes the illusionary version cheaper, and I suspect that it also lowers the cooldown, and this version will probably make it cheaper yet again, and Blake's only goes to level 3. Now Blake's semblance has an interesting little property, which is if you hold ice dust in your offhand, when you use it, it'll leave behind an ice double. And if you have fire in your hand, it'll leave behind a fire double. Those are the only two doubles I seem to be able to make that are different, but if you kill the ice one, it will leave an area of slow, which holds you in place because it is ridiculous amount of slow. If you kill the fire one, it'll explode and deal fire damage to everything in the area. Now, John's semblance is unique in that it's huge and regenerates incredibly fast. It probably also allows you to heal hurt allies, but as I'm playing single player, it doesn't do anything for me at the moment. He does regenerate very fast, and he has 200 where most people have 100, so it just makes John's semblance a very tanky one. Now, for the life of me, I cannot get Nora's semblance to work. I've struck myself with lightning. I've got mods to hit myself with lightning. Nothing seems to work. It might require someone to shoot you with an electric bullet for it to work. But as far as I've found, Nora's doesn't do anything. So Pirate's semblance is magnetism. And remember how I said we can throw the spear? Well, if we use her semblance, it'll bring the spear back to us. Which I think is pretty nifty. It does take a bit of time to register, but it will bring it back to us, and it's useful. It lets you bring back the thrown weapon. Her semblance might also deflect range attacks from other players, I don't know, but still kind of cool. Our explained Yang's and just more levels makes it stronger. We went through that in a bit of detail, so you can go back and watch that. Sorry for being off order. Now, Ren's coin, surprise, surprise, makes you invisible. More levels probably just make it more efficient. It's expensive, and if you press G again while you have it on, it makes you drift around weirdly, which I don't entirely get. But you're invisible, and monsters don't want to attack you. I also think it makes your friends invisible, or maybe it's looking for other me's around here. I'm not invisible, and I've left a fake version of myself behind. That's actually what I think is going on, is I'm leaving like a bunch of body doubles that are invisible around that confuse it or something. Maybe. I don't know. Get out of here, dang Grim. Now, Valor is a made-up fan character, and hers lets you teleport and makes raining noises. I'm not a fan of it. Okay. Crow's semblance is bad luck, and it gives you bad luck when you activate it. So, yay. And it's just always on, so you can't turn it off. So bam, Crow, bad luck. Clover's is good luck. And it gives you permanent good luck. And you can't get rid of it. So until you die, you'll have both of them. So it's like kind of a free thing, and Clovers doesn't activate anything. Now, I don't remember who Ragnar was. And I think she's from Fan Thing. But hers summons a purple skull that floats behind you and looks angry. Lystan, I also don't remember at all from the show. And I don't know what her coin does either. And I might have tested it, but I don't really care. Finally, Harriet's is fun. It gives you move speed bonus. So it gives us speed. If we level up to max, then we just get more speedy. Oh, by the way, the max for Harriet is 1 level. But Harriet just gives you bonus speed, which is fun. Movement speed. And I hope to see Harriet's weapons and items added, and a few of the other people like Stay added, and all that stuff. Now Fetch, even if Stay power isn't there, Fetch is an item. And you can throw it as a boomerang, and it will come back to you after a bit of time. Like Pira's Spear, except you don't need to activate her power, and it can turn into a gun that can shoot bullets. So what is next? Well, there is this metal. I told you that I'd tell you how to craft these things. And I might as well get to that. So, basically you take normal iron and you just add color to it. And that's how you get any of these metals. So the Byron Iron, Forest Iron, Gilded Iron, Shadow Iron, Frost Iron, and Rose Iron can all just be found quite simply. Now these things are actually gorgeous when they're thrown on the ground because they spin and then they come fully round and it just looks like the block is still there. I really, really like the look of the irons. They're quite pretty. I think they're a great little thing in this game. Finally, let's get on to faunus. What the heck are faunus? I'm not entirely certain, but they are creeple that can basically have an animal bit added to them. Doesn't seem to be anything else than that. So you can give yourself a tail and become a cat faunus with these injections. Now these injections can be bought from a folk in the market. Now, does it replace? Yes, it does replace. Can you have both ears and tail at the same time though? Yes, you can. So you can go full partial furry, I guess. Now most of these are ears and tails, I believe. And there is a whole lot of them. There is also just ways to cure yourself. So you can get rid of ears, which I think horns can't have, with these remover injectors. And you can get rid of tails with the tail remover injector. But there seems to be only tails and ears, yet we have a whole bunch of different kinds of remover injectors. Well, this is for the Grim stuff. Because as you might have seen earlier, when I was doing, what's-her-face, Cinder, I had a Grim arm. So you can shoot yourself up with Grim juice and get all grimmed up. And bam, you can become a horrible monster person if you like. But you can also cure it with the curable injections. So you are no longer a horrible grim person besides the horns. But we'll just ignore those. And on one last note, your semblance aura level, mine is currently 53. That actually does level up over time, especially if you kill Grim and use your semblances. That will slowly level up over time. Unfortunately, I cannot show an example of that at the moment. It does level up, so that is a useful thing to have. Now that's about all this mod has to offer. There are a few more stylistic things, a few extra little items that are just decorative, but it is either survival or non-survival. It's up to you to choose. There's a whole lot of weapons. I encourage you to go explore those yourselves. Now my thoughts on this mod. It looks really good, the models wise. The effects I feel like could use some improvement. There could be some improvement in just the powers themselves, but besides that, it's actually really good. I love the look of the Grim. I love the look of the weapons. The clothing looks pretty good, and I bet it'll look great if you have the right models for it. The zooming and the scope of the gun not being there is a little disappointing, but I'm certain that's easy enough to add, and they'll probably do that at some point. And I just love the aspect of switching weapons and just the whole design. It looks really good. I would like them to add some, I don't know, different animation to weapons. I don't know if that's even possible. It would look kind of cool, or maybe just improve it, but there's only 3 people working on it, so that's completely fine the way it is. It's really, really good in the state it is right now. I encourage you to check it out. There'll be a link in the description below. Feel free to subscribe as well so you can catch more reviews and more videos by me, and also go check out the Rwby show because it's currently updating right now. It's in mid-season, and if you've forgotten about or you're not keeping up, well, guess what? There's new episodes coming out, so you can see those, and they're pretty good. I really like the series. My Discord will be linked as well. And finally, let me know if there's anything else you want me to review or do. If you want a how-to guide, I can give you a how-to. If you want a review of a mod, I can review a mod. I'm trying to make my reviews slightly more high quality. This is a bit of a mix of my own style and another guy's style I came across online. So hopefully that's enjoyable. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you next time. Until then, goodbye.